Hey, thank you guys for stopping back by. This is your beer review number 8, season 2. Well, thank you for stopping by. We're going to do the beer review first, and then we're going to actually do the talk afterwards. So we have our last beer in this 4-set series from Ommegang. It was that Ommegang 8-pack that had 2 types per, and I was deciding to sample one before at the colder temperature and one at the actual recommended temperature that they have on the back. Today we have our last one out of the pack. It's our Ommegang Sour Pale Ale, or Pale Sour, excuse me, and essentially, it's mixed fermentation sour ale. Let's go back to the back. 6.9% ABV. It's served at 40 degrees. Imported and bottled by Brewery Ommegang, Cooperstown, New York. It's the product of Belgium again. So as we do our beer pour, we're going to go to the website. Just let's look at this nice, beautiful golden color. So we're going to their Ommegang Brewery website. Find it by going to Google. This is their mobile website. You hit beer. Let's try that again. You hit beer, year round. We hit our pale sour. We got our information right here. What this nice description. You hit their beer finder. Get their profile. Hit their accolades. Then we have our specs. See that beautiful imagery right there? Then you can find out their formats, which is in draft and a 4-pack, which is not necessarily correct because I got mine in an 8-pack variety pack. Let us get back to that beer review video. Look at that. Well, website information was pretty good. Ommegang has a very simple website, as always, but it just goes a little bit far above and beyond with its specs, with its recognition, how they serve it, and what they recommend on their website to go with the beer. The sours I'm not really a fan of them, but Ommegang has won me over with the last one, and this one will probably do the same. When it was colder, I didn't really enjoy it that well, but at this 40-degree temp right here, see, it smells, honestly it smells kind of like a cider to me, but you can smell that tardiness that I said before. It was similar to when you smell a warhead that you put into your mouth. You know, when you at first bite into that warhead, when you first start sucking that actual sourness, and the aromatics hit your mouth, and then you feel that little puckering coming on. So the overall appeal, this whole pack appeal, it just doesn't like shoot out, but they don't really have to shoot out. The overall appeal for Ommegang beer, it just comes from the knowledge that the fact is that the company does well. They have many other beers that they created over the last few years. They have several over the last few years that they created for the Game of Thrones TV show. Now, since it's done, they probably won't be creating anymore. So I'm curious to what they're going to go on and actually get licensed for next, because that was probably some really good marketing on their part. Carbonation on this as well. But overall appeal, as I was about to say, we could go again a 6 out of 10. A brew aroma, it's pleasing. So, but like I said, I'm still a little bit impartial against sour beers. But if you look right there, let's just see if we can get this polished up. But look at that. Just a beautiful color, though. But the aroma, I could go as high as an 8 out of 10, so 14 out of 20. So what am I expecting out of this? I'm expecting goodness because of what they've done in the past with the beers that they provided. But depending on this, I may actually give a higher score for flavor, because if they fully win me over for sour-type beers, then that's on them. That's a positive on them. nice and sour. Not too sour though. It just has this right flavor to it that, honestly, it goes really well with this. It's a very pleasant sour beer. Other than that, just one of those things when we do this thing in moderation, just enjoy the beer for what it is, not enjoying it for what it does. Okay? Yes, the beer for what it is, the flavor, the complexity behind it is what actually attracts me to this. But just think about it, though. You know, some people are attracted to the simple fact that beer can make them numb. And I'm not here to give you a lecture on morality or anything, but, well, at least not today. Today we're going to focus on this. That is very pleasant. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So we already had a 6, we had an 8, and then we had a 9. So we have a, what is that? 14, 23 out of 30. Not a bad score. Oh my God. The others is just superficial scores. Like I said before, in my talks, the breweries that I do the beer reviews on do not share my opinions or share my views. I'm just doing their beer review because it's a good tasting beer. So far, I've had one beer that really just stood out as very poor. You can go back and watch those videos. I might put that into the actual end screens. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Or maybe right here, I'll put a little card up that actually links to that very, very bad beer review that I've done. And it was a pumpkin beer that just tasted like butt. Well, so let's go on to that actual discussion today. One thing that's been on my mind is the fact that there's levels of communication that people get into, and if I never would have known about levels of communication, I would have always been frustrated to find out that, wondering why the communications that I have with people are just so either one-sided or so just lacking. And it's evident in people around me because, you know, how I get set off by people and what they say. You know, let's think about what we say to people and be purposeful. If we're going to actually upset somebody and we're going to say something that's a little smart comment, then we better expect that their response should come back to us, because if we don't, then we're just being very, 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 very selfish and one-sided. So if you say to somebody that they make a ton of big bucks, and that person then responds to you and says, I'll never tell you what I make here because it's not a good thing for the company for people to know what each other makes, and they say, I don't really care, then obviously they're just making a comment to be a smart ass. I can't stand that. You know, what point does it do? What point does it do to lift somebody up if they just make comments? I don't mind the comments if they're willing to accept their return, and vice versa. If I say something smart to someone else, I expect that I should get it back. And guess what? If they give it back to me and I get quiet, it's not because I think I'm right or I think I'm wrong. It's because I'm evaluating whether or not I can respond back, and it's willing, you know, I'm willing to actually take that cost on myself. So, but we sit there and we just are very selfishly, you know, focused on ourselves. And when we say these comments to people, we're trying to cut them down. So it's just really hard, you know, to lift somebody up whenever you're being cut down constantly around people because they think they can. And then what's even harder is that when you give it back to them, they don't want to hear it because you're pinpointing in their life an area where they're wrong. I don't care the fact that he doesn't care, or people don't care about how much I make. It's a simple fact that they make big money saying that I make a ton of money when they don't really know. Making statements that have no actual basis in knowledge. And I've done it a lot. I've made some statements that have very, 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 very limited knowledge, and I'm very sorry for those people that I hurt in that way, but now I'm past that level. And hopefully these people I'm talking about that actually upset each of us and they upset one another, they'll get to that level as well where they start understanding what they're saying. If you're going to be hurtful, at least be purposeful. If you're going to say something that's just a smart comment, at least have a purpose behind it, or be willing to have the backlash come back at you. There's not a lot of people that like that. They just want to make quick, smart comments because they think that they can get one over on somebody and be funny. But whenever that person takes it to the next level and is completely terrible to them back because that's how they treated them, then they get upset. That's the way our culture is today. And, you know, if someone uses a term to describe themselves and then another person uses that same term to describe them, and then that person that uses that term to describe them is getting offended at the other person using it, then you probably shouldn't have used it in the first place. You probably shouldn't be describing yourself or asking yourself and displaying the stuff that you're getting offended at that people are saying they disagree with. You probably should just let that alone. So let us think about our comments and what we do, and let us think about how we can make others better and make ourselves better in the process. Do we really need to state those comments? Probably not. Are they necessary sometimes? Yes, they are. Are they necessary all the time? No. But let's just think about those smart comments that we give and think about what we could do better if we don't give them, or what we could do better if we do give them, and how we could help those people learn. But there's no point to say a smart comment if you're not willing to accept their responses. Well, thank you for stopping by this beer channel review, this beer review for a dude with a brew. This is Ommegang's sour pale or pale sour. Beautiful beer, beautiful tasting. And I think Ommegang, I really just want to boost its score for this one all the way up to a 26 out of 30, just because the fact that you got me to like and enjoy a sour beer. As always, from this channel, may God bless you, may God bless your family, and bless your lives. If you disagree with me, or if you agree with me, I'm okay to hear all the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell, because that's just how it goes. And I thank you to those 36 that are subscribing, those 36 that do watch my videos, and the ones that take time out of their day to entertain what I have to say. Have a good day. See you guys later.